Go ahead and I don't know if that comes up in the recordings, but it does. Okay, cool.
The robot?
Yeah, because otherwise I would be like, you know, making some comment about it, and replays, people would be like, what are you making a comment about, you weirdo? I'm just eating grapes. Something. Okay. Thanks for joining me today. I know we're having way more meetings than I said we were going to, but I just want to. So it's fine. Now, let me tell you this. Today, we have things to talk about and things that I want to show you. And I have to look at my calendar to know what those things are. No, this is what I do to Alina. I'm like, can you remember me to tell everybody to talk about this? And she's like, yeah. And she adds notes. Here we go. Okay. Oh, this is in your email. So we're going to be talking about restructured tutorials. Neat. Video editing stuff. Neat. Naming files. That's Alina. I have nothing to do with that. That's it. Okay. So here's the thing. Restructuring tutorials. This part's exciting. After thank you for being the first round of design team where I get to also learn with you. But I think, and you guys think, that while it is fun, and I totally am full on, if you guys want to bust out 40-minute videos like I just did, it didn't record literally just this morning. And I had like a little disheartening moment because I just nailed it. And I'm like, how am I going to do that again? And I sank a little because I'm like, I don't want to do that again. But I did. I committed and I pushed through and I redid it and I did it better the second time, which never happens. But that was a 40-minute and then I did it in 32 because I did it once. But listen, that's okay and that's fun and people love that kind of stuff and like they're with you longer, which is great for the know, like, and trust factor if you're into marketing. Cool. However, I don't want you guys putting that much pressure on yourself every month. Also, like, there is magic in the pudding of bite-size things. I know we talked about this last time, but like we're going to officially restructure so that you guys know, like, hey, if you have something that you bust out and it's like value to somebody and it's 7 minutes long, I don't care. I think the ideal sweet spot might be like 12 to 15 minutes. Obviously, like, don't sit there and think, you know, whatever, but this is just like stats that I look at on different places, YouTube and whatnot. And those 40-minute ones are great. They don't usually have fall off when they're tutorials, which is awesome. But again, like Kelly, I was telling, I don't remember if it was with the group or not, but like when you have little tricks that you can do, maybe it's like, here's this watercolor trick you didn't know about, or here's this Procreate thing you didn't know about. Everything is moving that direction anyway with social media. Like, what was it? Oh, you know, like iPhone tricks you didn't know about. Obviously, that's not our brand. You want to, whatever. It's on you. I don't, please feel free. But you know what I mean? So just don't put pressure on yourself to like come up with a full-blown class or something like that, because that's not really what I want your guys' pressure to be. Like, we're doing tutorials, simple tutorials, you know, they're fun. Please feel free to do whatever you want in the grand scale, but scheme, but I'm not worried about length of time because I know that they all convert. Just remember that when you deliver short bite-sized stuff that you want to throw so much personality in there, it doesn't mean extroverted personality, but it's more of like, cool, you now have this amount of time to hook somebody's attention, to get them to like enjoy your process with you before they just start YouTube hopping, basically. But this is one of the reasons why we embed the videos within the blog, is so that people find them on the blog first and stay on the blog, rather than, you know, just throwing stuff up on YouTube and being like, jump around on YouTube. But YouTube is a traffic generator, but it's not the kind of traffic generator that it's It is and it, I don't know, yeah. But these longer courses, people seem to care about, engage with more, and share, which is cool. Now, questions about that, ideas about that? No? You guys feel fine? You guys feel good? The morning?
Well,
I
I have questions.
Okay.
You go first.
Oh, you go first, Teresa.
No, Leanne goes first.
Okay, fine.
I'll go first. Yeah, exactly. Leanne, go first.
Fine. So with the simple, I love this idea. I'm having a really hard time like figuring out how to make things small like that
Mhm.
first. So yeah, that part about it. But the other thing is like how do we like if I'm a little confused of how to bring in if I'm going to show a trick, how do I bring in Peggy's stuff in it? Like your
I hear you.
things. Like,
That was my
you know, is it okay?
question.
You
We
guys,
had the same question.
cute. It's just as simple as saying, and this is what I'm using for it. Like, because you always want to touch on, like, okay, so for example, I just did my recording that I'm gonna, it's not really like, you're not gonna see the full tutorial demo, but you'll see like the project that I just recorded was, I am an affiliate for Design Cuts. And so I also chat about the brushes they have on their site. So in my tutorial, while it was a full lesson, I said that I'll actually play it for you the way that I said it, because it's in the very beginning. It's like, hey, all today we're going to be doing this. Just because I'm really excited about X, or because I really love using. In this case, it was a new brush set to me. So I said, like, this is a new brush that I'm really excited to use. You don't need this one. You can use this. I'll share other brushes, like types that you can use as we go along. This is the one I'm going to go in. And at the end of this video, I'm going to swatch them for you so you can see if you want them too. But in the meantime, hang out. I'll explain what I'm using as I'm using it. Like it was just a very simple soft sell, because I think that like in the world, we're very fortunate to be artists when we're like looking to promote anything when it comes to materials, because we're all hoarders when it comes to materials and supplies that we want to use. And so if somebody sees something, you don't even have to say it, and they're going to say, what brush is that? What pen is that? What this is that? And so if you just casually mention things, it's way less of a, that's the focus. And so like, I don't want you guys to ever feel like you're hard selling. So it's just a matter of like, you know, I want to show you this trick. And if you're wondering, I'm using this and this and this. Cool, let's go. Cash. Teresa.
So I had an idea of like, oh, I can make a tutorial on how to prep canvas for watercolor.
Yeah.
But I don't want to use your brushes to prep the canvas because your brushes are too nice. So I was like, can I even make that a tutorial? Because I'm not going to be using Peggy's stuff, but I mean, I will be using your stuff for once the project's done. So like that was my question.
What if you did this? What if, okay, I got you on this, no problem. Here's what you do. Oh, brainstorming. Here's what you do. You film your canvas prep tutorial, right? And then you stop it when it ends. And then you film a tutorial on whatever it is that you're painting on that canvas as a separate thing, okay? That gives you 2 tutorials, but in the first one, you take that second tutorial, remove the audio, hyperlapse it, add some music, add that as an addition that threads into the end of your canvas prepping one for that like meditative, I'm going to watch this thing, because people like to do that after tutorials. Boom, you got the thing. You can say what materials you're using, and then you have that separate tutorial to use later.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Or you don't have to hyperlapse the entire thing. You could take little cuts of it and just like show a process, which is what I'm going to show you in the tutorial today, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like hyperlapse is fine, but real time is like the magic. Like people want to see real time. So you can make snippets of real time. Like they can be anywhere, like they could be 2 minutes, they could be 15 seconds. And this is the kind of stuff that's going to give you your gold content for, since social media is like so heavy on video. That's why I want to talk about it today, because it's going to convert better on everybody's social media and on your, like whatever you're doing anyway. 2 tips on that. When we hyperlapse or whatever, like let's say you're not filming a tutorial. This is for your own selves. This isn't like from the tutorial. We're going to go from a tutorial in this demo, but if you want to have social media content, but you don't feel like filming yourself, it's literally a matter of like getting to a certain stage in what you're creating. Like maybe you do like the first 2 brush strokes and like that's what you film for 2 seconds, the first 2 brush strokes, and then you stop. And then you literally are just holding your phone over the thing for like, you know, you switch to a stage and then you show like 5 seconds of something else, stop, work on your thing on your own time. You're not sitting there doing it for content. When you get to the next stage, film for 2 seconds, and then just thread that together with a beautiful cross dissolve. And that is your gold for social. It's so easy, especially if you already do like creative stuff. That actually, yeah, I guess it would be good for any, you know, for our content too, that is non-tutorial based. And you don't have to film an entire thing, but you have video content for your feed, you know, which is going to get you in the whatever it's called faster. Yes, Julie, I can't, my temperature is all.
So my Instagram doesn't have reels. And I don't know how to get it. Like I have 2 accounts. I have like a personal one and then this one. My personal one has it.
It makes me
So I
sad
know
for you.
it's a thing, but I can't get it on like my art one. So when I do videos, I have to like film them on my phone, put them together in like iMovie, reset, like adjust them. And then by the time I upload them, they're so blurry that I'm like, well, this looks really trashy. So I don't really know, I don't know how to get around the reels part, because I feel like I need to make reels, like you
That's
said,
so
like little,
weird.
almost like TikTok, like little snippets, and then like the whole thing. And it feels like I'm irritated about it, but I don't know what to do about it. I report it to Instagram every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I report this error, but they don't care about me, which is so rude, because
I care about you.
Anybody.
thank you.
There are some accounts like you get random glitches. I on my account, I can't remember what account access, but I also for some reason don't have certain features. I have reels, but then some other really random stuff is missing that other people have. It's just like an Instagram glitch, and I don't think you can do anything about it until they kind of deploy a bug to a release, to fix all of those bugs. But when it comes to video quality, there's actually a feature that you can enable. There's a feature you can enable on Instagram that will allow you to upload high quality videos.
Oh, really?
So it will not compress the video after you upload.
Oh.
I'll send you, I'll put in the chat now how you can set it up, and you can try it out, see if that works. I haven't tried it myself yet, but
I just read 3 different things. I read that it's not rolled out to all accounts yet. I read that it's because you didn't update to the latest Instagram version yet. And I read that no matter what, even if you uploaded to the latest version, like literally as Alina was saying it, that there's a glitch because this person has a food blog and an art blog, and it's the same situation that you have. Huh.
Well, I've even tried filming it. I was like, well, I'll film it with TikTok because it's easier. I can just like hold it instead of like making all these different videos and putting them together. Yeah. But it won't let me upload TikToks to my account because they're like, it doesn't add, you know how it'll add in the music and like the top, it doesn't do that because I don't have reels. So they're like, you stole the music. I'm like, well, you give it to me then.
Yeah.
Then we have it. And
the other thing with uploading TikTok videos to Instagram is that Instagram does not, the same as you would upload something else to TikTok that has a watermark, they don't
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
So those videos tend to get less exposure because they're watermarked with another
Yeah.
app.
That's the
So
theory.
you
but-
might,
That's the theory. But Becca, Happy Ever Crafter, does it and has seen no difference in her engagement, just FYI. I would be saying the same thing though, like they don't like it, but apparently they can't not like it that much if she's like soaring in engagement. Just I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, super annoying. I would just I know because it's hard. It's like what music can you use? Like even if you look up royalty.
I can't use any. I don't
but
think.
for videos, if you're uploading a video, you can add music in.
Oh, Myra is just saying, like when you make a TikTok or something and you save it and then you upload it to Instagram, that Instagram supposedly doesn't like that because there's a TikTok watermark on it, but she does it anyway and hasn't noticed any change in her engagement. That's all. Yeah. I know that they won't let you do the audio though. So if you don't have reels, you can't add the same audio that you were using then, which is really frustrating. I know. Yeah, that does suck because I'm like, or you could. No, that doesn't work either. Well, hopefully that changes soon. You could, I mean, you know, I think also though, think about this. Have you guys noticed people look at, I mean, maybe this is going to change, but people tend to look at Instagram without sound, which is like one of the major things that people would always say about stories is like, you know, like that's why they added captions, or that's why you had to type everything out that you were saying so that people knew what you were saying because they're watching, you know, they're looking at Instagram when they're watching a show or something. Whereas with TikTok, people are watching with sound. So I wouldn't at this point worry as much about Instagram sound as much as I would TikTok sound. Like even when I get like royalty-free music like threaded into videos, I often just kill the audio because I'm just like, I don't really even care about this music and it's like too soothing for my mood right now. And so I'm just gonna call it good. So I don't know. But I just read also in that forum, somebody had said they had that problem, but then like they kept checking and 3 weeks later it was there. So I'm hoping that happens for you.
I think it will eventually get fixed, but it's a matter of when.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sure that this might insult some of your guys' intelligence because many of you probably already know how to do this, but I'm gonna walk you through my process because it might help a little bit. You just never know. Basic stuff, okay? So here's the dish. I'm going to use Premiere Pro. The same applies to any program that you use. I will mention the controls and whatnot that I'm using in Premiere Pro so that you know, but just know that like all of the stuff that I'm talking about can be applied to DaVinci, can be applied to iMovie, can be applied to apps on your phone. You'll just find the controls in different places, but I like would put money on that any program that you're using would have this, wouldn't not have it. Yeah, that. So basically, I'm just going to show you like how my creative process and how I would think about threading a longer tutorial down into 15, 30 seconds kind of thing. Which is essentially also how you could film stuff if you're not filming a tutorial. Questions before I open that up? Nay?
I have one.
Okay.
Again. Do you want us to film to take our tutorial video or whatever, and however you're having to snip it, would you ever want us to make not like a preview, but like a little bit of the tutorial to post like on our Instagram, like this tutorial is up on the Pigeon Blogs, or do you think that it would take away from them actually going and watching it? Does that make sense?
I'm all about doing that because it doesn't
Okay.
show, it doesn't break down a process so much. But I think they're going to convert better. I do. I hear what you're saying. But like, it just really depends on what you pick to show. Like if you're putting do this and then do this and then do this, I think that would be fine too. I really do. I think that the more value you can offer your audience, the better. And if they're not going to switch off of Instagram right there, like they're not going to. So like you can tease, but they're probably not going to anyway. And maybe they'll like plant it in their head for later or whatever. But like what I've been doing with, I don't know if you guys have noticed that instead of sharing, sometimes I'm sharing graphics, but instead of doing that, I am actually going into the blog post and like screen recording little bits of the video and then sharing that and being like, this is what's happening now. And Julie, man, I was so pissed because I did like the prettiest one of your rocks and I don't remember what happened, but the way it recorded, I can't remember. It was so pretty though. I want to see if I can find it because it was, I think I still have it and it was saved, but something happened. There was some reason I couldn't, it was just really low quality. And I think it's because I was screen recording it. That's probably what it was. But here, okay, I'll show you an example right now of, where's the videos of what I'm about to do. If I can find it, if I didn't delete it. That's the big question. If I don't have 17,000. Oh, here we go. I'm surprised I found it. Okay, so I'm going to send this to my computer so I can share it to you better, for you better. This 20 seconds. It's so pretty. It's so simple. And I'll just show you my process to do it. Okay. Sharing the screen in just a hot second. Yeah, it was just really, really low quality, but it's because I was doing it from the screen and not from the video because it was a laying in bed moment. It's fine. It is fine. Okay. So this is all it was. Real quick, you will hear her talking. I was uploading it without sound, so just ignore that.
Mhm.
And that was like it. So basically like it shows the process without showing the process kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
It wasn't so pretty. I talked myself up like crazy just then. Now I'm embarrassed. I'm not. I don't get embarrassed. I wish I did. It's fine. Okay.
Embarrassed.
So for the,
Embarrassed.
Huh?
I have a question.
Okay.
So for the tutorial, so you would rather do as like real time snippets?
Yeah,
than,
because
hyperlapse?
people like real time because it's more
Mhm.
like, it's less about watching, like if you're teaching, okay? If you are an artist and you're not teaching and you just want to like invite somebody and you're behind the scenes and you kind of just get like a peek inside their world, like hyperlapses are great for
Mhm.
that. But hyperlapse is when you are infusing education and wanting to give someone an immersive experience, they prefer real time because it gives
Okay.
them like a better idea of them actually going through that process too. And then it's like, oh, this looks relaxing instead of just like a quick, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I'm just so used to like Instagram and the videos being super fast from like the beginning. And whenever it starts to take like a long time, I'm like, oh no, I need to speed it up.
Okay, I'll show you two things. I'll show you this first way and then I'll show you a second way where it's both. Have you seen the videos where people will start off and it's like this slow stroke and then it's sped up, and then when it transfers to the next part, it's like slow and then it's sped up? That's an other option, and it's really easy to do. And that you're giving them a bit of both. So you're showing them more, but you are keeping it to like where they still can feel that immersive thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I find that I actually pay attention to those even more because I get to watch more. Okay. So feel free to ask questions as we go through this too. And I'm going to share my whole desk.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, please. No, you're totally fine. I am like, I don't know what, you know, when I'm extremely hyperactive right now. So the things that I say, I've had so much caffeine and eating grapes. Okay. So I'm only showing you my whole screen because sometimes the pop-ups in Premiere are over here and you wouldn't see it for exporting stuff. I don't know. I just don't know what's going to happen. So I'm showing you the whole thing. Look how clean my desktop is, Alina. I only have a couple things. Yep. Okay.
Well done, you.
I know. Can you guys see yourselves? You can't? Teresa says you can. You can or you
Depends
cannot?
on what view you have.
I'm right
Because
here.
if you have, you can, if you switch to gallery view, then you will be able to see everyone.
Can
In
you
the
guys-
top right hand corner, it says view.
Oh,
Click on
you
that
guys
and then
can, 'cause
select
I still
side by side
see-
gallery.
I still see all your little faces on the right, and since I'm sharing my desktop, I thought maybe you'd see yourselves. So cute. Okay. Sorry. All right, let's do this. Sorry again if I'm insulting any of your intelligences. I just want to facilitate as much as I can. I feel like these types of things are always helpful to watch, even if you already know how to do stuff. So the big thing that I'm terrible at doing is setting my sequence size or my project size before I put a video in, because I always end up, oh, I'm in Photoshop. I was like, why are pictures up here? Because I always end up just taking the video and dropping it in and calling it a day, only that's not what you're supposed to do, because then it's going to take the size of the video, which is really inconsistent. So setting that first, it's like when you set a canvas in art, you know, you want to have your canvas size. All right, so I'm going to do that. Sorry, again, I'm just going to explain. Oops. This is like when you do tutorial. Oh my gosh, come on. When you do tutorials that when you explain everything, like everything, this is just a tip to do that, because some people won't understand your process. So if like you're a Procreate user or something and you want to explain stuff, going through the motions of, okay, so I'm going to create a new project versus, okay, I'm going to create a new project by clicking new project on the top left. Like, it's just that simple to mention. So I just want to mention that. Naming your new project, you can do that if you want to. I literally never do. I always just replace the last one. That's horrible. Don't take my bad habits. I don't know. You should save your projects. I just don't. My computer is mad at me with how much I have on it already. So your workflow, your workspace might look different than mine. And that's fine. Basically, why is this even open? I don't know. Basically, this is your sequence area, this is your project area, this is your source area. So this new project does not have a size assigned to the sequence yet, because projects in Premiere Pro can have different sizes of whatever, because they can have a whole bunch of sequences in one project. It's not just like a video project, just as an FYI for those who don't use Premiere Pro. So again, I want to drag this over, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be a good. I'm going to go to File, go to New, and then go to Sequence. And so your sequence is your video. Settings is what I'm going to go to. There are presets, but settings shows you exactly what's going on here. So your frame size, 1920 by 1080. And then that's basically all I look at. But here's the thing. If you're creating for Insta or you're creating for stories, what I typically do is run my video fully through a normal frame size always, because if you throw a tutorial up, a full tutorial on YouTube that's vertical, nobody wants that. So first, right? Do all your edits and everything first, and then export that. And then with your new sequence, you can then go in and change it. So just as an FYI, typical settings 1080, 1920 are your vertical stories and TikToks and whatever. 1080 by 1080, that creates your square for Instagram, just so you know. 1920 by 1080 is your typical 16 by 9 ratio, which is for YouTube, for like standard videos. Which is interesting because Skillshare does 9 by 5, which I think is the smaller version of that. Huh, interesting. Anyway, and then you press OK. And so then this right here is that canvas size. You're done. It's great. So now I can drag my video in and you can see that there's 2 bars. And if I go up like this, then it's just keeping those separate because one is audio and one is video. Okay, now it's saying that the sequence settings do not match. And do I want to change the sequence to match the clip? No. And the reason why is because the clip size is probably a lot larger. So we want to do what our keep existing settings that we just set. Okay, so when it comes to audio, do you like that green? That is a green hue, blue hue. Welcome to the Pacific Northwest, where we have early mornings of green blue light. That's okay, Oscill's gonna fix that for me. I'm not. Maybe I will since I'm already editing this, who knows? Okay, so anyway, my point is, with audio, when it comes to like, you edit whatever you wanna edit, but it's really easy to get rid of audio. It's easy to remove it. So like right now, anything that I do to the clip is going to affect it like it's gonna be connected. If I wanted to separate them, I would just right click on either of them and say unlink. And now if I move something, it's going to move independently of the other one. Do we know this already? Am I telling you guys stuff you already know? Literally everyone's nodding. Cool. I'm not going to give you a Premiere Pro tutorial. I'm just going to show you how I thread things together. Okay. So let's say your video is already done. Good for you. Wonderful. So I'm going to create a new sequence under the same project. And I'm going to go to my settings and I'm going to change this to, I'll change it to 1080, 1920. So it's vertical. The reason why I want to do this separately from the landscape is because so many times something will be cut off. So you want to make this to frame size. You can either double click and drag it to be frame size, or you can right click and say set to frame size. This is probably not going to scale to frame. No, see, it's going to set it so it's inside the frame. So that's helpful when you're using it in whatever you're using. But see, when I get larger, it's going to cut a lot of stuff off. So that's going to help you pick and choose like where you want stuff in a frame. And to show people what you're doing. So like if I wanted to show this brush set, then I would want to like, let's say, oops, I don't know what I just did. There we go. I would want to cut this, see on your keyboard. This is a shortcut. And then you would click where you want to cut it, delete that clip, and then just bring this to the front. So before you adjust where the frame is, you want to find out, I'm going to get rid of my audio so I don't hear it. You could just mute audio. I'm just going to get rid of it. So you want to see how much of that clip that you actually want. So you can scrub through and see how long. Okay, so I like to scroll. So I'll cut this stuff out. And then I will see, maybe that might be enough. Okay, so I'll cut right here because I'm just doing super short clips. And so just on that clip, I'll double click it and I'll drag it right here. Pretty simple, straightforward, okay. And then I'll find the next clip that I want to use, which is probably gonna be way, way, way over here since this is the whole class. And then do I want it to show up on my first line making? Sure, I'll just do maybe that, no. So thought process. I've already started this line. I'm cutting it here and I'm gonna see I want it until right there. So that's it, literally. I'm just showing the initial shape that I'm drawing, and then I'm gonna take this part. I know there's a shortcut. If you guys know it, tell me to bump this to the front instead of having to drag it the whole way. And I forgot what it was a long time ago and I'm too late.
Peggy,
Yeah.
you can just select the space between the two clips and hit delete, and it's going to automatically like
I do that.
put them in sequence.
Nothing happens.
Like that space, yeah. Delete.
Ariana, I love you. I seriously, like, it's been, I'm not even kidding you, like 2 years since I forgot how to do it. And I've just been sitting here, you know, when you get rid of a gigantic chunk and you're like, okay, I'm just going to hold this right here until it finally gets there. Oh my gosh. Well, on iMovie, when you cut stuff, doesn't it just automatically clip? Yeah. All right. Everything's fine. This is why I like to do this, because I need to know stuff. No, so, okay, so I've got that part done. I have just the basic shape that I drew. Okay, so what's a big next step? Not really filling the color, because people already know what the shape looks like. So I'm gonna go and see what else I can show. So maybe I'll do this line with the yellow. So I've kind of started to draw it. No, let's go right. Maybe right. New layer. I don't need to show that because it's just a quick clip. All right, so I start to draw it nowish. So I'll cut this. I'll do this really awesome trick that I've already known how to do for a long time, where I clip it over there. Great job, me. All right, and then, so I've got that. I've got the next step. Oh, and that's taking way too long, which I don't want. So I'm gonna cut that part out, and I'm gonna, boom. Oh, this is great. Okay, so the next part here, and I undid that. Oh, I undid this a few times, I think. Yep. Gotta love that. So I just check. And then I'm like, okay, that seems good. That seems like enough. I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay. So, whoops. Yeah, get rid of this. Okay, so how long do I want? Wait, no, I don't want to get rid of that. Sorry. Okay, the rest of it. So this can go over there. What just happened? Oh man, oh, the whole thing does it. Duh. Sorry guys. Okay, so then we get there, and next part. What's the next main part? Okay, so we've got erasing. I don't need to show that. I'm talking about clipping mask. I don't need to show that. And then I can go into shading. That might be a fun one, but let's get more dramatic with the shading. I don't need to show every step of the shading. So I'll go into when I grab this red. Okay, so I get to about right here, because I don't want to show myself zooming out and all that. And then see how far that's getting. So this is where I could start to hyperlapse if I wanted to. I mean, you could anywhere really. Okay, but how do I get back to the beginning? Is it command arrow? No, because that's just something else. Oh, this, never mind. Teach me. All right, so shading. So I have like the beginning of this where I start to add it in, and then maybe right here I can cut, and then I can scrub to see how much of that I want to put in here. So maybe just to right here when I zoom out. So, all right, this part, maybe you know, maybe you don't. I'm just going to show you my preview, which I recommend looking at as you guys are doing it. So my preview is going to be short. I look through brushes, I draw my shape, I draw the next part. You didn't need to see me fill it in. Now I'm adding shading. And then right here is where I'm going to keep adding shading, but I can right click and go to speed duration. I can speed that up. So let's try 500%, which I know is significant, but I don't want to sit there doing that forever. So see how that worked. I would even pick a longer part of that clip, because if it's going to be that short, and you're trying to show a longer process, maybe this wouldn't be the best process to show, but it'll actually, there we go. So once I'm on shading, I have the normal time, and then I speed it up so you can see more of the shading. Okay, great. Not the best example of doing that, but we're going to do it again. What's the next part that is more substantial? Let's look here. Okay, this part. So I'm gonna start to create some separation with the background. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, so right here, I think I'll even speed this whole thing up. I won't even show the basic process. I'll just have this be part of the hyperlapse, and I'll do maybe 250 because I want it to be a little bit slower. Nobody's gonna notice that. So I'll show you what that would look like. And then speed up time right here. And then see, it doesn't, you can't tell the difference. I just went into a different shading technique, so it looks like it's still part of the process. I could cut it right here. It doesn't need to keep going. Again, just walking through my process so that you guys know like what I think about to help you with how you can think about stuff. Here's where I'm adding like textured lines. So maybe I'll cut a little bit of this in real time and see maybe how long I'd want that in here. Okay, stop. And then maybe a little bit more toward the edge. So you could like skip the middle part and then show, let's see, show like the end. That's another way to do that, to where it's like, okay, this is where we get to the end part of that, start and over on the other side, right? So that makes sense as a transition where you're still showing the beginning of something and showing the end of something. And then let's show, I'm not going to show the base of this shading because it's not extravagant enough, I don't feel. Oh, maybe I'll show the color change though, because that's something that might be interesting. So to people. All right, so I'll cut there. I'm doing a lot of cuts, but this is also a long video. So you want to make sure it's not like so many jump cuts where it's like jump, 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 jump. You want to keep people's attention. So keep that in mind. And that's why I say like, what are the big changes instead of the little tiny ones? So here's where I change the color, and then I'll go to the color that I finally decide on in the shading part. Is this making sense? Am I going like too fast? Cool. Okay. So color change, and then where I go into shading. Okay, I'll cut there. But this whole process is like, I mean, it is time consuming. It can be like 15-ish minutes of your time, but it's just repurposing your content, which will only, you know, do good things for your social and everything like that. All right, so now I'm not going to do the beginning. I'll start with like the second one right here. Okay. So let's see from here, I'm just going to sample, see what I did. Okay, color change. Now some shading I do. Now I'm adding these cutie pies, and I'll cut it there because you see that first one. And then I'll go to like maybe the last one of the new color. So like this guy. Look at this trick. Boom. Okay. Yeah, so then it goes to the last one, that color. So you see it building up without having to watch the whole process. Again, that could be a hyperlapse moment. And scrubbing through here and seeing, so I know what the next part of this is. That's the major part, which is these guys, but I want to do it not when I'm explaining, but when it's just like an effortless. I'll do this one. That's the other part. When you're explaining something for a long time in a video and you want to speed that up, that's the part like you don't want people to get super hung up on, right? Okay, so I just want to point out, I'm reaching the 30-second mark here, so we're getting a little bit long. Oh, no, I'll say it in just a second. We're getting a little bit long, which is great for reels, but not great for like, wait, we just did this. TikTok does up to a long time now. Reels, here's what it is. Reels lets you do 30 seconds, right? And then IGTV is a minimum of a minute. So it's like, what do you do if you're at 45 seconds, right? Okay, here's the trick. You loop it. Yeah, you literally take the same video and add it to the end. So these are things to think about. Like if you're really trying to get the whole process into 30 seconds, I would want to go through here and cut some more of this out, which I totally can. I'm probably just going to end up using this on, I don't know, something. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm just showing you stuff. Okay, so real quick, now this is, if you do a hard cut, like let's say, so all these hard cuts don't have any transitions, which I'm fine with. They all make sense except for this one. That's the one that bugs me. So I could either change that, or maybe I want all of like my entire video to look like hard cuts because they are big jumps. You can go to effects in Premiere, and this might, you know, this is going to be different everywhere, but just look up cross dissolve, or you can go to video transitions and you'll see dissolve, and then there's cross dissolve. You can use any kind of dissolve. You can do dip to white, cross dissolve. Dip to white and dip to black are great for like scene changes. So if you're like, you are face to camera, so talking head, and then you switch to iPad or something. I like cross dissolve for everything. It's just really simple. So I'm going to drop that right here in between those two clips. And so what that's going to do is just create a quick, you know, an easy blend. You probably know how to do that, but maybe not. Okay, but I wouldn't really use a cross dissolve if nothing else is a cross dissolve, because I just feel like it's out of place. So I'm just going to get rid of that guy, do a huge jump from the very first one into the rest of them, which is fine. Okay, so I had that, and then now I'm going to get rid of the instruction part when I'm talking forever, and then I'm going to start, and I'm going, yeah, so I'm jumping into this zoom, and I'm going to speed it up because this is where I start adding texture. We'll go right here. Because that is a good place to speed up. It makes sense to. So I'll right click, speed duration. Let's go 300 and see what that looks like. Okay, so I got that. And then, yeah, so maybe even faster would be good. I'll go 500. Yeah, so then you can see like a little bit of, you know, your workflow, which people like to see, but you don't want to sit there watching the full tutorial right now because that's for another time. Okay, so then I like to show color changes, because if it's too dramatic out of nowhere and they don't see it happening, it's like somehow, you know, oh, my brain isn't following this, what now? So going into color change, this is a little bit too long. I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to make it faster. 700. You just want to keep attention. That's why also when you find these big jumps like color changes, I'm going to speed this part up too, because wow, what the heck is happening here? Okay, cut here. Speed this up, speed duration 300, and then find the next color change when I'm not talking forever. But in that moment, I was admiring how cool it looks to have a transparent jellyfish. Just a little bit of love. All right. Okay, color change happening, boom, we get to green. That seems good. And then I go into a glow as the very last step, and it looks like I'm at 45 seconds. So it's something I'm watching the whole time. I'll go to the end of creating this glow. And just put that in, and then I'll show the part where I make the glow come to life without worrying about showing controls. Maybe I might want to. I'm going to put this over here and see if it shows up. Yeah, so then I can show a little bit of controls and then maybe cut and then bring this next clip back into frame. This is choppy, guys, but I'm just showing you like the way that I think about it as we go. And then the very end, I will just show I took a really bad picture, but I'll use that as an example. Like, let's say you have a really beautiful picture that you took. I was just showing Alina what I made because I was so proud of myself. Let me find it in our Slack. Okay. Oh, whatever. Download. Okay, so let's say you took a really pretty picture and it doesn't look this boring. And you get to about this stage. Oh, you want to keep it under a minute if you want to post it. Let's see. Okay, so maybe I'll speed this up because it's not that important. Move these over. Doriana, don't judge me. Okay, and then I'll get rid of the rest of this. I'll add my photo in. You can just drop photos into the same area and we'll see what that looks like. I'm gonna bring that down quite a bit so it fits in the frame. But then here's the fun part. Okay, so this is kind of, it's not tricky, but it's like, for whatever reason, every single time I do it, it doesn't want to do it right. But it's really easy to add Ken burns, essentially is what they're called. So it's basically if you double click on a frame, and you can do this with your video too. Like if you have tutorial videos and you want to just like capture attention right off the bat, let's say you want your frame size, you're going to crop your video. Before you crop it, start at the smaller part and then gradually, like you want to cut it so it only applies to a certain part, but then gradually apply the frame change. Whoops, I'll show you what I mean. So let's say this is a part of a video and I've cut it. So the rest of the video is over here, but I want to initially grab attention here. Double click it and go to effect controls. Whoops. Okay. Whoops. Effect controls. And then it's scale. You can also do it with position. So like where it is on the frame. So it like pulls that direction. But scale, you just click scale. And then this is the part that's always so annoying. But then you drag it to the end of it. Is this right, you guys? And that's where it gets larger. Oh my gosh, every single time. Yeah, okay, cool. That's all it is. It's really simple. It's more simple than, why are you taking my picture? You're like outside my window taking my picture. Why? Okay. It's just Laura.
That's not creepy at all.
Huh?
That's not creepy.
I know. She messes, she usually sprays the window with the hose, but that, no. Okay, so the last part of this though, so you see how pretty that is. It's like, okay, I've done this pretty project and bam, let's pretend that picture is prettier than it is. I guess it doesn't look that bad. I am not a fan. Okay, I don't know if this is like 1996 of me and I'm just like stuck in this time, or if it's just like, I don't think it looks good because it's not seamless, but I always like to dip to black at the end where it fades out. And so thank you so much. What were you doing? Everyone knows what you were doing, and so now we want to know why.
Oh, well, you just have a really passionate look on your face.
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Oh man, I had a passionate look on my face. Okay, so I just like to do that. So I'm gonna drag dip to black at the very end and I'll show you. Is this like 1996 of me, or is this a thing? Like it looks good, right? When you go, oh, I got my Ken burn and done, right? No, just me? Whatever, you guys suck. I'm just kidding. Okay, so
I do that too.
right?
I didn't know
It
that
looks-
was something that you could do.
It
So.
looks better. I see, Teresa, I'm glad because I'm like, gosh, all these people are like, I already know how to do all this.
No, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, was this helpful? Do you feel stuck on any part? Do you want me to answer a question for you before I show you my handiwork of what I've done masterfully? No? You'll think about it. Okay, so I'm just going to show you, like, I would always preview the
So
entire thing
I have a question.
before you post it. Yeah.
Okay, so you have to download like for YouTube, like the size, you have to download it and then change the size on the sequence, right? If I understood correctly.
What do you mean by download it?
Export it, I guess is the word.
Oh,
So when you were doing the video for YouTube, so you
Yeah.
do it and then you export it and then that's when you make the changes, right?
you can. I do it that way just because, like, when I do a full edit, like, let's say I have chops like this for my YouTube video, it's going to be way easier for me to grab from a seamless clip than to grab from chops. Like, it's, for me, that's easier. And that way I'm working on that video. You can take, like, here's my first sequence, which let's say, let's say, okay, let's say this is my chopped up version. It's got a bunch of cuts, it's got a bunch of edits, all the things everywhere. You can easily just copy this and then go to sequence, create a new sequence, settings. It's just, here's why I don't like doing this. I'm not even gonna show you. No, I will. Here's why I don't like doing this. Even if this is the right size frame, no matter what size frame it is, I'll just do this one since it's different. And I copy paste it. If for some reason you get stuck here, which this happens in all of our workflows, no matter what, we will inevitably miss something. So to make your workflow as streamlined as possible, I would have everything be in one, because any edits that I make to this, like let's say I want to make it larger for whatever reason, then I'm going to notice as I'm editing that the next frame goes smaller again, or maybe I brightened this, and I went to color and I was like, fixing the awful temperature of blue. I don't know how to do this. I mean, I do, Asiel's gonna do it. You guys, I was joking one time, Laura wanted me to go pick something up at the store for her. And I was just like, why do I have to, like, I'm literally in the middle of an edit. And so she was on the phone with Dylan. And I was like, fine, you have to sit here and edit my video then. And I had this window open, and I kid you not, I came back. She had the perfect balance, but didn't realize that I was like, no, edit my entire video. But she like worked on it that entire time. It was like 40 minutes of figuring out temperature. Like, she made it look so good. But anyway, this is an aside story. But that is why I like to have everything be in one. And so that's why I would export it and then create a new sequence and drag that in. That's just my personal work.
Okay.
I've made way too many mistakes because I get really easily distracted, or I get tunnel visioned and then forget about everything else. So that's just what I would do. However, your own sitch. Now, okay, this is my however. I can remove all this. I have my 1080 by 1080. I can go to, where are my sequences? They're usually all right here. Doriana, oh, it's right here. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say in the project side.
Guys, they're usually all right here. So whatever. In the project side. This is why, like, Premiere, it's beautiful. It works wonderfully. It lets you do anything you want to do, but sometimes your stuff disappears and you're like, where did it go? Also, I just want to tell you, when that happens, because it will happen if you're in Premiere, let's say I just worked really hard on all these cuts and I exit out of it, and maybe you're in effects over here, or you will have the biggest panic attack ever, because you're like, I just lost all my work. But it's a matter of just going through the project and finding that sequence, and that helps. See, I knew that part. It happens to me a lot. Okay, so what you can do though, let's say you have like your vertical and you like the way it's cut, you can copy that and paste it into this sequence of it being, the square version, and then crop anything that needs to be cropped. So like I could crop it as a whole, or I could just go to the areas that I think like, oh, maybe that's too close or whatever, and then just make tiny edits there. That's where I would just copy it over, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, totally. So that's kind of like what I would do. Now, the part of this that you might be wondering about tutorial wise, like you can totally add text in most video editing programs, so you don't have to do it on your phone if you go through this process already. And the nice thing about that is you get to add branded text. So if you wanted to, like Julie, this is going to be super fast because I did so many like quick cuts, but I'm just going to press T. It creates a text box. I can say like step 1, like let's say there's like 5 steps. Step 1, create a mushroom shape. Okay, and then I can go to my text layers over here on the left under effects control, and then I can change the size of this just by dragging it. Whoops, yeah. By dragging it left or right so it's the right size. I can center it if I want to. I can add a background color. Let's say you can change the opacity of the background, change the text to make it branded. So if I was to do like I don't even have League Spartan on here. They uninstalled a bunch of my stuff because I had to renew, so they canceled my plan and then like reinstated it, and now a bunch of my fonts are gone. Really cool. It's really cool. So, okay, step 1, this is, you want to stay away. Whoops. Remember that you want to stay away from the bottom because that's where all those icons are, especially on TikTok. If you do that, like icons are literally all over the place down here. So I would stick and stay away from high because there's also stuff up there on certain platforms. Also think about how things crop. And so for step 1, that's fine, but let's say it's the cover of like learn how to like draw a jellyfish with me is what I would say. So I'll just do that real quick. Draw a jellyfish with me. And then I'll move that to the beginning. So this would be, I know sometimes like now these platforms are allowing you to, why is this so slow right now? Oh, because that's what I did. Okay, another quick tip for your covers, even though that's the beginning of it, I would just bump this over a smidgy and then drag your photo in. Even though some do let you choose the cover, I would still choose your own. And then where did my font go? Or my text? I don't know. Okay. Draw a jellyfish with me. Yeah, because that way it's not some like just like standard, what's it called? Oh, text, what the heck, Peggy? Sorry. That way I'm not on a boring Procreate screen that isn't relevant to the beginning of my video. Okay, scale that. That seems fine. Just short, and then draw a jellyfish with me. I'll cut that here. And you can, this is what I was saying. Okay, back to what I was saying. The text. Brand it, whatever. I'm not going to use my anything because it's not over here anymore, but it's under your text. You just have to arrow down. The fill is your color of the text. Your stroke, if you want to do that, it outlines it. I wouldn't bother with that unless it's your thing. Background color. So let's say I want it to contrast against this, so I could choose like white or black would be good. And then I can increase the opacity. Yeah. And then you can also increase, the size. So, and then I think you can round the corners and do all that kind of fun stuff too. But yeah, let's pretend that looks a lot prettier and it's like totally branded and lovely, but that way, think about where it crops. So like on Instagram, if you put a reel up and then you share it on your feed, it's going to crop it into a square. So the very first frame, you want that text to be within that square. The rest of it doesn't matter. Just make sure it's not the very top or very bottom. Okay, that's all, folks. Any questions about that?
I have a question.
Okay.
Are there certain fonts that you like for us to use if we were like making snippets of a tutorial?
Ooh,
I mean,
that's
is there like,
good question. That's a good question. I will say that I'm a big fan of League Spartan. It's nice and bold, it's simple, it's modern, and using it in all caps is eye-catching. And then even so, I usually use it in all caps, but then I also do a little bit of letter spacing to it. So let me just make this difficult.
you said League Spartan?
Yeah,
League, like,
LEAGUE.
okay.
I really like that one. Oops, that's not what I was looking for. Okay, so for example, when you space text out, so have you ever found like the perfect font and you're like, why doesn't this look like I want it to? Here, Montserrat is a great example of this. So you're like, great, that looks good too though. But maybe you want to space it out more and you're like, what the heck? Where it says VA right here, it's tracking, also kerning, whatever. And then you can just drag that and see how it's just putting a little bit of spacing in between. I wouldn't do that with Montserrat just because, I mean, some people like to, but Montserrat's already pretty wide. But yeah, like these bold fonts are really nice. Ooh, this is fun. No, it's not. Don't look. Let's see, do I have, no, I don't, my fonts are just like gone. This is stupid. That's all right. Yeah, that's what I do. But you guys, even when you do your own branding stuff, like even if you love a nice thin font, think about how that translates. Like you want things that are always going to be really eye-catching. So for example, is this really eye-catching? No, but it might be if I make it in 3 lines, I center it, I enlarge it quite a bit. Whoops. Okay, that seems fine. And then bring it in here and then maybe, okay, that's giant, but maybe I decrease the opacity of the background. See how that just like draws attention more? So when you think about stuff like that, oops, what did I just do? I just want to get rid of this thing. I don't know, whatever. When you think about stuff like that, it will be in your best interest, basically, is all I'm saying. Real quick, since this is big, I'll show you the stroke. And you can change the size of the stroke. So I'll get rid of the background and change the size. So see, it actually is really fun to do outlines instead of a background. But you want to do it when the font is pretty large. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless. So bam, done. Branded colors, gorge. Contrasted colors, awesome. Literally everything that we just went over, most softwares will let you do. I just wanted to show you my process in Premiere, which by the way, FYI, I'm going to be doing a real deep dive in DaVinci soon. So for those who aren't using DaVinci, I'm going to learn it so you don't have to. I'm going to go through all the crap so that you don't have to. But the reason why it is intriguing to me is because a lot of my friends on who I know through Skillshare use DaVinci, who are top teachers, not a lot of them, but a handful. And it's free, except for their pro version, which is also a good price, I'm pretty sure. But the free version lets you do pretty much everything that Premiere does. Somebody uses DaVinci in here, right?
I use DaVinci.
Doesn't it do pretty much everything?
Yeah, and I have Premiere Pro. I've just found DaVinci easier, even though it does everything that Premiere Pro does. Yeah. It's less, I would find like just glitchy things with Premiere Pro, or like you said, losing it was just harder for me for some reason. And DaVinci's been a lot easier.
It's like when you move away from Photoshop for the first time, or like, oh wow, Canva does so much. Like I don't have to use Photoshop for all this stuff anymore. Or Procreate's so great, I don't have to use Procreate or Photoshop for this stuff that I used to, you know. When you find replacements that are user friendly, like why wouldn't you go that route? And so, yeah, I've been hearing about this from people in the flock for a long time, specifically Fanny. And so I'm finally going to jump on that because I'm finishing up a course right now on course creation, and I'm like, I need to be able to offer this information to people. So yeah, I'm going to do a deep dive and enjoy. But yeah, simple basic edits. That's what we were looking at. That was my thought process moving through that tutorial.
I have a quick question on
Yeah.
that, or hopefully, for having it be your cover image, is it as simple as like just placing it in the front, or how do you make sure like that's your
Yeah,
cover?
sometimes
Is there
they'll
something
like,
special?
you know how on Instagram, when you upload a video, it lets you choose the cover from the whole thing. From what I know, I think TikTok and Reels, I think you guys know more than I do, let you select your cover photo now, and it doesn't even have to be from the video. Isn't that right? So no, you don't have to. But if you just want to go ahead and make sure that everything is ready for anything, you could do that. Yeah, I would look and just like put a sample thing up that you don't actually go, but I did it the other day and I was like, oh, you can do this now. So
Yeah, they actually have it so you can like position what the cover looks like on your feed too. So like,
oh, do they?
on my latest reel, I was able to move up. So like you
Okay.
could see where the text was instead of it like being like towards the bottom of my picture or whatever.
Okay, cool. That's really good to know. And then that's also, you guys, if anyone's wondering, I tried too hard on TikTok to figure out how to make my cover text stand out. And I didn't realize it was a post-process thing. Like, you know, the like pink block thing. I'm like, how come this isn't working with the text? It's not showing up anywhere. And then just the other day I was looking and I was like, oh, it's just after you're done editing. There it is. And you can pick a cover. You know, I'm going to be 35 this year. Is that an excuse? I don't know. I think it's a good excuse, right? Meanwhile, some of you are like, yeah, I'm 74 and I totally understand TikTok, no problem. Okay, but was this helpful even for, please, for those of you who already know how to use, was it helpful just to walk through a process? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad. And the reason why I wanted to walk through it front to back is, yes, I did talk a lot through it, so it took longer, but if you're just like doing it your own cuts and you're not overthinking it, Kelly, Bren, Burke, and you're not overthinking it, you saw how I was like, okay, I'm just gonna grab like the next major step. This is enough, boom, and it was done. I could have that done in 5 minutes. If I'm adding text and I want to say like step 1, step 2 for TikTok style, it would take a little bit longer. But real quick, most of these programs, you see how I like customize that font and I did like the outline or whatever. You can just copy paste that font and then change what it says. So the style all stays the same. You don't have to worry about, you know, reformatting everything. So it shouldn't take that long. Make it simpler than your tutorial. It's just like step 1, draw your basic line. Step 2, shade. Like literally that's it. And that is going to boost your stupid social media so much more and get so much more engagement. I do not practice what I preach because I do not have time to do it. I am in the works of finding somebody to process that stuff for me because I can't do it. But I do recommend doing it. And if you can find a video editor who will do it for you for a good price, then I suggest doing that because wow, your sanity, I tell you what. Okay. All right, so concluding, think on that, let it ruminate. If you have more questions, let me know. If there's something else you want to see video wise, let me know and we can always go over that another time. But the reason I wanted to walk through it was so that you had the process for creating stuff. And if you create these videos, I will be forever grateful because then I can post those as well. And it'll be a lot more engaging. Julie has a question and Kelly has a question. I say Julie does, but I don't know if that's true. I'm just reading booty.
Yeah.
Me too.
I also see Kelly and I jumped in front of her, and that's rude, but I'll be fast.
It's okay.
Do you, if we do make this little clip and we're gonna post it, do you want us to add it to our Dropbox so that you don't have to like, or
Ooh,
can
that'd
you just
be
get
cool.
it from our Instagram?
No, that would be awesome if you want to throw that up there, and then Alina can throw it into throw that link in for me on the Peggy to share. You don't know about that. On my Asana, she adds a subtask, Peggy to share, and then I snag that stuff. And FYI, you guys, if I haven't shared something, it's because I've been crazy, crazy busy. The other thing is, if I don't want stuff to get lost, so something is really, really event heavy or promo heavy, I don't want it to get lost in there. So some of you may have noticed that I'm sharing something like a week later. That's also a good call though, to bring people back around. So like we do post emails on like newest stuff or whatever, but like bringing people back around, sharing at different points. That's why it's always great for everybody to do each other's tutorials. It's fun. Alina has been doing so many creative retreat tutorials and I'm loving it. And it makes me want to do it. And I'm like, no, you don't have time. Ooh, nope, this is a flock thing. Never mind. I have an answer to something. Do you guys want to know? Because most of you were in this.
Yes.
Okay. Remember when we were talking about fan art and how like it's a big no-no for copyright reasons? So why is Society 6 having all this Star Wars and Mickey Mouse stuff? It's officially licensed. That's why. Society 6 artists, like they vet people to work with Disney on specific projects, and Disney licenses it. So basically, when I say license, I don't mean typical license terms. I just mean it's officially licensed, meaning it's like officially approved by them. And you'll notice that if you zoom in, there's always a copyright on there. It says copyright Disney. Yeah, pretty cool news. So we know they're not cheating. Why you shake head?
Because like Disney makes it so that you can't even freaking paint a mermaid with red hair anymore.
I know.
I like mermaids.
I
I
just
like
wanted-
red hair.
I just wanted to let you know, everybody know, and I please, if I don't say this in the flock, not tonight, I mean, maybe tonight, whatever, but on the actual legit chat, remind me, because I know that was such a huge question. I'm sorry, I got way off track. I don't even know how that came
I'm
up.
not going to remember to remind you. Either.
Yes, you will.
I won't.
Kelly, what's up?
I just wanted to see if you would share this video with us so my husband can watch it because he does the video editing.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kelly just wanted to flex that her husband is doing video editing. That's
I know, right?
And he cooks.
I mean, come on, Kelly.
What I'll do is I'll give you guys this replay link, and then I'll also send you the little clip so that if you want to show that really, really long process I just talked about, which is probably really boring, but I feel like your husband might like me, right?
He loves you. We both.
I'm
love
glad
you.
because he DM'd me about my mouse and I was like, you like me. I like to be liked by spouses, you know? What?
Like you. Who doesn't?
A lot of people.
No.
Here's your mouse. that he
Yeah,
ordered.
see? Do you like it? Does he like it?
Yeah, he likes it. He used your Amazon link. I don't know if you get a kickback.
I think
or
I
anything,
do.
but-
Yeah, it's, you guys, like, I've had 8 probably ergonomic mice, and I always buy the cheap ones, but this one, it was an investment. I don't remember, it's like 80 or 90 bucks, but it's the Logitech one, and my wrist, like, look at this, look at this, look at that natural position. No problem, no problem. Okay. Anyway, he noticed it in a video and DM'd me and was like, hey, what's that mouse? I was like, I got you. Affiliate link. Anyway, cool. Kelly, what's your question?
That was my question. Sharing
Oh.
with my husband, remember?
That's
I'll
right.
make my hand go down.
That's what it was. Yes, I will share it. I'll share the clip too. Yeah. I don't know what Alina's deal is with all you guys naming your pictures, but she's all like stressed out about it. So I'll let her like have her little vent.
I'm gonna cover this in more detail when we have the next catch up for August, so I can show some examples. But most of you are on track now. But it's all Peggy's fault because she's the one that's obsessed with SEO. So don't blame me. But yeah, just when you're naming your photos, try to make the titles longer. So like instead of, I don't know, red poppy flower, you put like how to paint a blah-di-da-di-da.
Okay, but she's right. You guys, here's the thing. I give Alina my thoughts. Okay, they just come out, they're word vomit. She remembers them, no problem. And then she enforces. She's an enforcer. I'm the nice guy. And then she enforces to me all the time. She's like, just so you know, you still haven't done this. And I'm like, even though I'm the one that said I needed to do it. So it's the best partnership of my life. Yeah, totally. So, okay, ideally 4 to 6 words max. So it wouldn't be like, how do I draw? I mean, obviously it would be like how to draw red poppy or poppy flower or something. But then the next one would be poppy flower drawing tutorial. 4 words, keywords. Basically, the idea is to make them all different, and they would all be versions of what you would search on Google if you were looking for that content.
And also, even if the photo is just, for example, of your brushes or the canvas or something, don't name it as like, you know, prepare like white canvas. You know what I mean? Like still use the title of what the tutorial is about to name it, rather than what's on the photo.
I didn't think about that.
Could you say that again, please? Sorry.
So even if the photo is of, let's say your tutorial is about, you know, drawing in a sketchbook, and you are showing a photo of an empty sketchbook or of your supplies, instead of calling it supplies, like sketchbook supplies, you still use the name or the topic of your.
I'm sorry.
What do you say now, Peggy?
I don't think that's necessary. I think it's good to be like, no, I'm going to just X-nay that. I might have said that earlier. I might have. Probably did. But I think it's good to put like.
This is recorded, Peggy. I'm just reminding you.
I know.
I'm gonna save this.
You should record all the conversations.
I know.
You should record all the conversations, so then you could just like tape record it and like play it back to her. I think that would be really fun.
There was only one time.
You are going to be banned.
I know. There was only one time that I was right. Most of the time, Alina's like, no, you said this. And then I find out later, like she was totally true. Not true. She was, yes, right. And then now I just accept it. I do the same thing with Laura. Like, I just accept that, like, this is the way my brain works. But I was so certain one time, and I had so much energy about it. I was like, I'm going to find this. I'm going to screenshot it because I was certain. I was like, boom. Anyway, okay. The thing about this, I want to change that. If I said it, I'm going to change it. I'm going to tell you something that I saw, and it kind of irks me, and I want to hear your guys' opinion, but it's also kind of smart marketing. But anyway, you could say like best sketchbook supplies for or like best supplies to paint with watercolor, or like watercolor supplies top 5 or whatever. Like it could be that. It can be what Alina is saying, but it could also be that, because if someone's looking for the best supplies to something, or like watercolor sketchbook, you wouldn't want to put watercolor sketchbook, but you could say like best watercolor sketchbook landscape or portrait or mixed media, whatever it is. Because even if it's a whole supply list, because you never know what people are searching for, and they toggle over to images and then they click it, and then bam, not only did they find something they were looking for, but they found something they might want to follow along with. So that's why I'm totally cool with having different names. Here's the thing I was going to say. Have you guys, this has happened to me so much lately, where I'm searching for something that's like kind of, it's usually some stupid like website related thing with Kajabi, but I'm like looking up how to do something on the platform, and then I go to the page and I scroll, I can't find anything about it. And so I use the find feature a lot, like with everything I do. And it's in white text on a white background, and it highlights it where they hid it. They hide SEO keywords that have nothing to do with articles in the article, so that Google can scroll through it and find it and put that on the page, even though it has nothing to do with it. Like, how is that helping you? That's not helping you show up someplace.
Isn't that just keyword stuffing? Isn't
Yes.
that like,
But like hidden keyword stuffing.
but isn't that just
It makes me
exactly
so
what we're
mad.
not supposed to do?
No, like it's not okay, especially when you actually don't post anything about it except for this hidden white text.
That's so weird.
I know.
That's so frustrating. That's just like putting, garbage out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
Confusing. Yeah.
it just like wasn't even a relevant topic, the blog post. It was like littered with affiliate links and then basically like a typical review of Kajabi. And it's like, this is not at all what I needed here. Anyway, don't do that. But it does work apparently. So if you guys want to be spammy.
And you still want us to do the dashes between each word, right?
Yes. Yeah, because that'll
Okay.
those act as spaces.
Okay.
Yeah,
Underscores also work if you have something that automatically saves it with an underscore. For example, like from Procreate, if you export something and you put a title, it's going to add underscores automatically, but there has to be something to separate the words.
Okay.
I used to do only underscores and now I do only dashes because I thought that was like the thing to do now. What do I
I
know?
used to only do underscores too. It's weird. Now I'm changing to dashes with
Yeah.
you guys, but it's nice to know. I have one more question for the tutorials that are going out. Elena, you create a new image that you're gonna put for all of them on the page, on the blog, I mean.
Do you mean
Is
the
that
cover
correct?
image?
Yeah, the cover image, I guess. Yeah. Do you always create a cover image, or do you always,
So the one that goes for the blog, I take one of the photos that you guys provide, and that was actually going to be one of my other points, is that make sure that for every tutorial you provide, let's say you're doing something in Procreate, always make sure you include the actual final image as well, without, just like the thing itself, because that will be a really good cover photo for the blog, as well as for YouTube. So for the blog, the cover is just a photo. For YouTube, I do make an actual cover with text and stuff. And again, I need, a good image to be able to do that, so that your art and your tutorial stands out nicely. So yeah, just whenever possible, make sure that there's at least, a couple of images that are really well lit, really, nice, sharp, and so on. Does that answer your question at all, or did I just say something completely different?
I have one more to add to that. Thank you so much for creating such great cover images. That was so great of you. I just feel bad for asking for you for them because I want to use them also.
I make them
So
anyway. I make them anyway. I have to make them anyway. So if you want me to send them over to you, you can just ping me and I'll send them. It's not a problem at all.
Okay, and that's okay to ping you because I feel bad to
ping
you for that. But yeah, okay.
No, of course. Same with pins. So you might have noticed that at the bottom of your blog, there's a pin added. So I make 5 versions of that because Peggy makes me. So I can always send you like one version of it, so you can use it for your stories, for example, because
Okay.
it's, you know, vertical, so it'll look nice in stories, or if you want to, you know, put it anywhere else as well.
Thank
But
you. Yeah, I
listen.
just want to be sure I was doing the right thing to ask you for it. And
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Let me tell you something. I'm bad at dates, but approximately 6 months ago, approximately 9 months ago, I had 500,000 views on Pinterest monthly. And now I have 4.5 million views monthly. And it's because I'm posting 5 variations of the same thing. And some people will say 10 to 15. So, and it's because I'm doing that. I'm constantly putting out content that looks different so that it catches different people's eye. And that's literally all you got to do. And then you're going to drive traffic like crazy. And maybe the thing is, when you put Pinterest stuff up, like initially it might not snag as much attention. Like I still swear by, like people say that it's changing and they want new content, but I still swear by evergreen content on there. The longer something's on there, it's like out of nowhere just starts gaining tread and then it just goes crazy. Like Melly's tutorial several years ago about watercolor crystals is like one of the top ones that people pin all the time. And it's like, it didn't used to get pins at all. So yeah, just do different versions, like the lifestyle bloggers or the interior designers who just take pictures in different angles and then just post all of them because they all look different. You can do the same thing with your feed too. Like if you take different angles of your work and then, you know, wait till it's off of your main grid and just post it again in a different angle, it's new content. Captures different eyes, captures new people, it just depends. So yeah, that's why, Alina. Rude.
I just want to clarify that when Peggy says that she posts five pins for each blog, she actually means me. Just wanna clarify that.
I'm loving this, all of this. It's bringing me so much joy. Thank you.
Okay, but listen, I did for Summer Creative Retreat, I took a lot of that off of her because I wanted her to not be as slammed. And so how many days was that? It was like 8 days in a row where there wasn't a day that I worked under 14 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
Vacation.
Huh?
She was on vacation.
No, I know. I know. And she was
I
still
still
working. She still worked. I told her not to. Okay. Quickly, for replay's sake, I know that most everybody is here. I'm going to conclude and stop recording. I'll get replay up shortly.